Hopefully you can hear the roar of the ocean to the right of me as it just pounds the shoreline. Morning everybody, great to see you again. So today we've come back to, well, we've come to the western side of Iceland and to this lighthouse that you just saw and these amazing cliffs. And what we're doing is we're planning for the aurora later tonight because it looks like it's going to clear up and we're going to get some amazing northern light activity. And luckily for me, I'm here with Mads Peter Iversen, and he is an amazing aurora photographer. Take a look at his YouTube channel and his Instagram account. He's done some stunning images. So I'm going to speak to him later, but he's going to tell us exactly what you've got to do to take great aurora shots, because I've not done a huge amount of it, so I'm looking forward to finding out more about it. But one of the things is really important, as with everything, is composition. So we're going to try and find a composition now whilst it's light, and then we can come back tonight and find some great shots. And yeah, it's just stunning here. I mean, you can see to the mountains back there, there's sort of black sand beaches. It's like nothing else that I have ever seen. I am so excited to try and find some great shots. You can probably tell I'm even more excited than usual because it really doesn't get any better than this. Location which is just on the edge of this black sand beach here, and as you can see behind me, the waves are just coming in and going out. And what I'm trying to do is experiment with different shutter lengths and then different conditions as the sea comes in and comes out. And again, as I spoke about in yesterday's video, these are just about experimenting, and you've got to take a lot of shots to get a good one. So I've got a 0.9 stop ND filter just to reduce the light a little bit, and I'll probably have to up that again because it's getting brighter. And I'm trying to use around about 1 second, but I'm also going to experiment with longer exposures as well, because tonight when I'm here and the northern lights hopefully are above, then I'm going to be exposing at much longer exposures. So I want to see what that looks like when I do it, so that I can try and then get the best exposure in the dark when it's going to be less easy to experiment. Again, it's just absolutely amazing. Let me just get down here and just try and explain what I'm trying to do. So as the waves come up the beach, then they create a different type of sort of blurred motion than they do when they go back down the beach. But I'm also looking for the next wave to come up the beach. So I'm almost looking for maybe two lines, one created by the next line and one created by the top of the first line of waves. And it's all about just timing and making sure that you get the timing right. And I've got it set on about 1 second at shutter speed. And what can be better than being in a place like this, just experimenting with different ideas for photography. I don't do a lot of coastal photography, but why not come to Iceland to try it out? Okay, it's really windy now, so hopefully you can hear me, but what I'm trying to do is take a shot of the amazing black sand and the line that's created just behind me. And the mist from the wind is creating this amazing ethereal look to the shot as you go into the distance, and you can see the far mountains as well. So I'm trying to make it as simplistic as possible. I've got my 70 to 200 lens on. It's around about 80mm. I've got it at about f10, and yeah, I'm making sure that I don't overexpose the highlights. And it looks fantastic, as simple as possible. I've not got any of this rock in the actual shot because it's all about simplicity, this shot. So now it's the middle of the day. I'm trying to just pick out details with my long lens because it's often a really good idea to do that, you know, whilst you're waiting for the sun to set and then the aurora. Whew, long days here in Iceland. And it wasn't windy when we got here. Fantastic. What a place.
Time goes by, yeah, you and I are running out, running out. Time goes by, I change my...
So I set this camera angle up to try and sort of say how magnificent Iceland is. But I don't think I've got the words to be able to describe it. Hopefully you can hear the roar of the ocean to the right of me as it just pounds the shoreline. And I think that's Iceland. It's so powerful and majestic. I really can't get over just how beautiful this place is. It's just stunning, so amazing. So if you haven't been, then really think about it. It isn't the most expensive place to visit. You can stay in youth hostels, sleep in your car, get a cheap flight and come here because you will not regret it. As a photographer, it is a dream come true. Oh, unbelievable. Still at the same location. We've been here since lunchtime, probably about 8 hours, one location, and it really pays off to stay in a single location. There's so many amazing places in Iceland, but by persevering and sticking to one location, I think we've got some really amazing shots. So this is the final shot really of the day before we get on to doing the aurora later tonight. And we've just been taking various shots down the coastline. It's important to have foreground that's interesting when you're taking shots by the sea, because even though you've got this stunning background, you've got to have something to lead the eye through, and by using the rocks and the line of the rocks can really help. Now unfortunately we couldn't get low down, which is obviously really good because the waves are too strong and we want to be safe, but by staying up here I've managed to get something pretty good.
Time goes by, I change my mind about you and I. So would you stay for a minute so I can be brave? Let me catch my breath. Now I can feel what I'm
So I'm back in my studio now, and it's 2 weeks ago since I went to Iceland, and I want to go through the prints. So this was one that I just shot at the end of the video and talk about them in a little bit more detail. But before I do that, I just want to talk a little bit more about how important it is to stay in one location. So when we went to Iceland, there's obviously a huge number of locations that you can go to, and we drove for about 7 hours down the coast over a couple of days, and we could have stopped in multiple locations when we did that, but we chose 2 locations, which was the one you saw in last week's video and this week's video, and we spent a long time at those locations. So I think last week I probably spent 7 or 8 hours, and this week we were at this location for 14 hours. So it really pays off to make sure you stick around at a location, because you can scout it a little bit more, you can get prepared as we did in this location for the aurora, which by the way is going to be in next week's video. and you just get a better appreciation for the location, and you start to spot compositions that you probably wouldn't spot if you just spent an hour or two there. Okay, let's have a look at the prints. So the first one I want to show you is this one here. I'll just lay it down here on the table, and so just looking at the top of it here, we had this dramatic light, and it was just so incredible, the light, and you can see it changed throughout the whole day. So when we first got there in the morning, there was no wind, and then it was really overcast, as you saw in the first drone footage that I took. But then as the clouds cleared and the wind got up, then we got this dramatic light on these mountains here. So if I just move it up now a little bit. So the exposure on the water here is around about 1.5 seconds, and I've got it at f/22. Now I focused on the mountains, and this is just one shot. I did take some others where I focused stacked, where I focused on the mountains and I focused on the foreground. So by getting it at 1.5 seconds, you get a really nice movement in the water, and that movement of the water, I was taking the shots in camera, looking at the screen on the back of the camera, because obviously the composition changed as the water flowed. So what I tried to do is get the corners of the image to have diagonals that pointed you into the image that then drew you up, and then I was just trying to time it to get a really nice splash on this rock here, because I think that's a focal point for your eye, and then your eye leads off to the mountains in the distance. So yeah, I was really pleased with this image. Okay, so there's another image here that I wanted to show, which is an image that I actually took handheld that I didn't show in my video. Now this is an image that I recently shared on social media. I put it on Twitter and Instagram, and it's had the most likes of any photo that I've posted on social media. And I think it's just so dramatic, but I think it's interesting how I actually took this photo. So I was actually just going back to the car to get some different equipment to be able to do a time lapse. And as I was walking back, I just had my FUJI with me, because I always keep that with me all the time, so that if there is an opportunity to take an image, then I can quickly snap away. And then suddenly, the clouds got into that position, and the light lit up this mountain here. And I was originally going to take one of the foreground, but I thought I'd just spin my camera up a little bit and take one of the amazing sky. And it's just come out so well. And you can even see like birds flying down here when you look really closely. The sweep of this black sand beach just looks fantastic on it. And the print really does show this image off so well. So I've decided to add this image onto my library of limited edition images. So it's up there now. Should be a link appear here to be able to go and purchase that. And I've also got an offer code as well in the description below for 20% off. It really does help me and my channel if you do purchase these prints, but this one looks absolutely fantastic. So the other one, the final image I want to show you, is from last week's video, and this is another one that's also a limited edition print. So again, I looked at the comments, and I could see that most people like this one out of all the images I showed last week. I think it's just one of those moments in time that don't happen that often. We were speaking to some people that had been to this beach quite a lot, and they said that they'd never seen the conditions like this. So we got lucky, but by staying around, we got this, because if we'd have just stayed there for 20 minutes or an hour, then the conditions weren't like this. But by staying to the end of the day, it made such a big difference. Okay, thanks so much for staying to the end of the video. So I've got a giveaway today, and the reason that I've got a giveaway is I've got to 25,000 subscribers, which is something that I just never thought would happen. And I've got a tripod from Benro. And this tripod, here it is a slim carbon fiber tripod. As you've probably seen, I use Benro tripods, and I think they're fantastic. So I'll be giving away this slim carbon fiber tripod, which is really light. It's fantastic if you want to hike somewhere, and obviously using a tripod makes a really big difference to long exposures. So to win this, what you've got to do, you've got to subscribe to my channel, be subscribed to my channel, drop a comment below on how you'd use a tripod and ideas for long exposure photography. And then in a couple of weeks, I'm going to pick a winner for this, and I'll pick it from somebody that's commented below. Okay, well, good luck, and thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday for some green aurora glow. I can't start, that's tricky, isn't it? And I'll see you next Sunday for some green aurora glow. Bye.
so